The best part of making your own pizza dough is not just that it tastes better, but it does. Not that you get to make it ahead, but it's better if you do. It's that you get to eat pizza. We're gonna make it today. You can use it tomorrow, but it's even better if you wait till day 3 or even day 5. So make this at the beginning of the week, knowing that on the weekend, it's pizza party. We're gonna use bread flour. Now you can use all-purpose flour, but bread flour has a little more gluten and therefore makes more elastic dough, which is easier to handle and manage. So bread flour is a good start. We're gonna add some yeast right in here. We're also adding some salt because every dough needs to have salt in there to bring out all those flavors. We're also gonna add a little bit of sugar. That's gonna help with the browning for our pizza dough and also give it flavor. Let's put this down, stir these dry ingredients together. Good enough. Now, we've got 2 more ingredients to add. One is olive oil. That's gonna make it more supple and tender, also adding some flavor. Now we're gonna add water. I've measured out some water here. I'm not gonna add all of it, most of it, but not all of it, because I want to see how the dough comes together and whether it needs more liquid. It looks a bit ragged to me, like strips of ragged material. It needs a little more liquid in order to come together fully. Now here's what I'm looking for as I watch this dough. I'm looking for the dough to actually clean the sides of the bowl and pick up all of the crumbs on the bottom of the bowl. This will happen. You need to knead this dough about 10 minutes in a stand mixer. Okay, so it's been about 10 minutes and it's time to check this dough and see if it's ready. One sign that it's ready already is that the bowl is actually quite clean. The dough has grabbed everything off of the sides. Now, if you were gonna make this dough by hand, you're gonna be kneading it by hand, and you're gonna knead it for about 20 minutes, and this is how you do that. You grab the dough, you push it with your heel, grab it, give it a half a turn, push it with the heel of the hand. You're gonna take a little piece of it and you're going to stretch it like this. Stretch it, stretch it, stretch it, and you don't wanna see it break. You should be able to get it quite thin, like a pizza crust, before it starts to tear. Let's divide this into 6 equal portions. I'm gonna divide it in half, and then I'm gonna divide each half into 3 portions. The secret to making a round pizza is to start with a round dough ball. So we want these little portions to rise in the shape of a circle. I'm tucking all of the ends underneath into the center of the bottom of the pizza dough ball, and now I'm gonna roll it around. I've got a great nonstick surface here, like this silicone liner, rolling that dough ball into a perfect circle, and the bottom should have a sort of knot there. We're gonna put all of these dough balls onto a cookie sheet, and I'm gonna put a little bit of oil on that sheet first. Now we also want the top of that dough ball to be coated in oil, so with my hand, I'm just gonna roll a little oil on it and place it right there. We're gonna do this to every single little portion here, so we'll have 6 beautiful dough balls at the end. These are going to develop their flavor and rise slowly in the refrigerator. So cover them with plastic wrap, gently, not too tight, and then put them in the refrigerator. You can get away with cooking these tomorrow for pizza, but they're really good in 3 days' time. So here are some pizza dough balls that I've made previously, and when you're ready to make your pizza, you want these to sit out on the counter for at least 1 to 2 hours so they come to room temperature. They'll soften, you'll be able to put your finger there and they'll hold a little fingerprint, and now we can remove that and get ready to make pizza. While your pizza dough is coming to room temperature, you want to preheat your oven to 500 degrees. Once the preheat light goes off, you want that oven to stay at 500 for 30 minutes. Now inside the oven is really important. You might have a pizza stone. I've got a pizza steel inside the oven. I'm going to use a wooden pizza peel to get my pizza onto that steel inside. I'm going to use a piece of parchment paper on that peel to help me slide that pizza off without using any flour or cornmeal or anything else. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour down on my baking mat here. And I'm going to put the pizza dough down. Push it down with your hands. And what you see me doing here is I'm actually pushing the center of the dough ball down, leaving a bit of crust around the edge. Once you've done that, you can lift it up and start pinching that pizza crust, making a little bit of a ridge around the perimeter of the pizza dough. And then you can transfer it to the back of your hand and start to stretch that pizza. We're making thin crust pizza here today. So you're gonna stretch it beautifully, but you don't want it to break. If it breaks, don't worry about it. Just pinch it back together, no big deal. Now you've got a nice, beautiful, round, thin pizza dough. You're gonna put that right down on that piece of parchment with the pizza peel and grab a pair of scissors. We're gonna trim around that pizza dough just with a pair of scissors, making the parchment almost fit the pizza. We're gonna start with a little bit of sauce. I'm gonna put a dollop right in the center and then smooth it out to the sides. Remember, the center of a pizza is always the part that gets soggiest, so we're gonna spread our sauce out to the edges there, not letting it focus in the center. I've got some plain mozzarella here. So a little bit of mozz. I'm gonna put a little bit of Asiago cheese on as well, just for a little extra flavor. Mozz is very plain, but it's a great melting cheese. Asiago here has a little more kick to it. Here's where that parchment paper really makes it helpful. Look at my pizza sliding on the pizza peel. No problem at all. I'm gonna transfer this to the pizza steel or stone in your oven, and we're gonna set the timer for 8 to 10 minutes. So you'll know when the pizza's done when the crust is beautifully bubbly and brown. We're gonna take a look at it here. I'm gonna use a metal peel to take it out. It's absolutely beautiful. I'm gonna slide it onto a cutting board. See, the parchment just comes right off like that. And now we're gonna garnish this up with a little bit of fresh basil. You could try some oregano, some chili flake if you like, anything you want on here. Let's cut this up. All right, so once it's done, of course, it's really, really hot, but how can you resist a delicious piece of homemade pizza?